Talk to me about the situation.
So, 2 months ago, I was, previously I used to be part of the police department. As more specifically, I was with the SDSO. Do you recall the war that happened up in Sandy between the police department, the Unified Police Department, and the Lost?
Yes, I believe I read that in the history books.
Yes. Somewhere along the lines, SDSO started claiming that there was no war in Sandy Shores. After I parted from the police department altogether, I still kept up a decent relationship with that department, including Toretti. I would frequently go and say hi. One day I went to go say hi, and I said, "You guys do realize that there was a war in Sandy Shores, right?" I was promptly then cuffed by Cody Sharp, and I had a bag placed over my head, and then I was taken to the bathtub, the basement of the building, and waterboarded until I said that there was no war in Sandy Shores. The next day, knowing that there was no evidence that I could file against them besides my testimony, and knowing that there were no witnesses, I was sick of this, so I went to SDSO, I found Toretti, and I slashed him in the throat. Before I did that, I asked him why he did what he did, and he gaslit the fuck out of me. Now, I don't take it lightly when individuals decide to shoot at cops. This wasn't me retaliating at the cops. This was me retaliating at an individual that I trusted, that I was friends with, that I would constantly go on ride-alongs with, that mentored me, and then decided to do that to me. John Copperton was present and unloaded about 4 clips of AR into me. He's a cadet and isn't authorized with an AR. I was then promptly taken to Pillbox with Toretti, and we were treated. I was cuffed, and then once I received treatment, John Copperton took me by himself, placed me in a Charger, which he's not authorized to drive as a cadet, and asked me if I liked the smell of the sand.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you here, Miss Shaw. As you recount this most peculiar story to me, I'm gonna ask that you not reference every time that John Kopp did something that is not in line with a cadet. You're telling me a story where you slashed Toretti in the neck and where you were shot multiple times by a Leo. I don't really care if he can or can't drive a Charger. Continue.
That's fine. He promptly took me to the middle of Sandy in the desert where there is an oil rig. He searched me and uncuffed me. I then dug into my pockets, and my pets were missing, along with my mobile phone. My switchblade was gone, but you know, we know why. He then asked me to climb on top of the oil rig. I refused, and then he pulled out his gun. I climbed on top of the oil rig, in which he followed pursuit, and then he pushed me over the edge. And as he was pushing me over the edge, Toretti, Swenson, and Fingaldan drove up and witnessed the account. And once I landed and didn't go down or didn't need urgent medical assistance, they all sounded very disappointed. And I saw an opportunity and I ran and I hid. They searched for me for about 5-7 minutes before finding me. And as I saw Fingal attempt to tase me, I punched him. And then I was shot by Swenson. And whilst I was cuffed on the ground, I was tased by Fingal. And then John Cobb arrived in his vehicle and ran me over multiple times. He revved the engine of the vehicle to the point where I could barely breathe with the sand going down my throat, in my eyes, just all over my face. EMS arrived on scene, and somewhere in between me hiding and EMS arriving, Toretti went down, and I don't know how. Toretti was unconscious, and we were both transported to Pillbox, in which I was begging for EMS to contact a different police officer to help me. And he was barely being helpful. He did eventually call my dad at the time, which was more than enough. So I'm grateful for that. I was taken to Pillbox and being treated when Kiki, an EMS who I trust, I begged her to call Tessa Lamb, the park ranger. And EMS then secured me in a surgery room due to my own safety, and John Copp assaulted EMS. Um, Tessa Lamb and Matt Rose arrived and attempted to assist in helping me. And whilst I was in their custody, John Copp came into the surgery room and took me off their hands, even though an under sheriff and also another superior instructed him not to. He then placed me into the car and took me up to SDSO and shot me several times in the cells. When I received treatment, blah blah blah. When Matt Rose and Tessa took me back to the scene of the crime where the oil rig was, I had to collect evidence. Multiple SDSO deputies were there to try to cover up. They were insisting that they take me into their custody, and they were adamant that they process me, in which Matt Rose and Tessa Lamb refused due to my own safety. I obviously gave my statements and whatnot. IA was informed. Toretti has placed, from what I'm aware so far, 2 hits out on me. One in which he approached Sis and said, "I want Cleo dead." And he approached another individual and dropped charges to as a deal for him to then kill me. I recall an incident where I was with that individual and another person that is part of the SDSO, and he turned around and said, "Why is she still walking?" There have been several other accounts in which I have been unlawfully detained and arrested. One being in which I was reporting a crime, and I then had HVTU on me for a 911 call. And amongst other things, regardless, I've received 2 to 3 phone calls by John Copperton over the past couple of days saying that he is going to kill me and he's going to place me in the bottom of the ocean where my pets are. He's going to break into my house and strangle me in my sleep. And he said the same thing to my boyfriend as well. Matt Rose pushed criminal charges on John Copperton, Swenson, and Fingal, in which those were then dropped because it was posted 51 minutes too late. People with an IE can't trust them. The one that's looking into my case is an SDSO deputy who has on numerous occasions flirted with me when, I mean, that's not really the point, but he's tried every avenue to try and communicate with me, even though I said that I don't trust him. There's also been an account of about 3 to 4 months ago in which Dan Faley was also waterboarded, and multiple individuals witnessed it, and there is no IA report, even though a trooper did file an IA report. That IA report is gone.
Miss Shaw, tell me what you want me to do.
Accountability is what I want.
We're creating a external affairs group, EA, or the tribunal, that will look into these sorts of complaints about PD, but I can't do that until that's approved.
Okay. Tell me more about it. Like, what are your plans with it?
My plans is for instead of it being IA, instead of it being their own police investigating themselves, I want the citizens of Los Santos, a third-party organization that is paid, has a salary to go and investigate the police for wrongdoing.
I think that is a brilliant idea. I'm going to be very, very honest with you.
Until then, because your case is so egregious, and because I see a possible avenue to investigate it in a way,
My brother now.
what are how good of terms are you on with Kyle Pred of the PBSO?
Kyle Pred, I don't think Kyle Pred and I don't get along. But
Have you
I
ever heard the
literally-
phrase, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Yes, Kyle knows about this, and we haven't really spoken about it since. Matt Rose is his under sheriff, so I work closely with him on this. The only
I will talk to
person
Mr. Rhodes, and I will give, for this particular case, I will give state funding to the PBSO if they can get to the bottom of investigating the SDSO on this. Because these are very egregious claims that you are making, Ms. Shaw, and I need to get to the bottom of them. I will take this seriously, but in the future, you will go through the tribunal, through our external affairs committee.
There is someone that I would highly recommend that I actively trust, and that's going to be Jeffrey Bundy, the captain of the LSPD. If you ever want to communicate with him, he goes above and beyond, goes the extra mile, which is more than anyone can ask for.
I will
just want
speak.
people to be aware of this.
I will speak with Bundy and Rhodes about this and figure out what we're gonna do. I don't know what I can do in my powers office, whether I can fund these investigations or whether they have to be taken out of the budgets from the PD themselves, but we'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay. So it's all that I ask that you try. Be advised that there is a civil case that is going to go ahead. And if you would like, I could let you know when that's going to be scheduled.
I will attend it.
Right.
Ms. Shaw, please reach out to me about the civil case. I'll let you know what I hear from Bundy and Rhodes. This is the kind of behavior from the PD I want to stamp out.
I would, I don't know if you want to know, before, your, EA, I'm assuming that stands for External Affairs.
Yes.
Is once, I don't know if you want to wait until that's approved, but there is a situation going on in which, a cop has fabricated an entire thing. An individual has murdered someone and is a witness rather than, it's all fucked up. The whole thing is fabricated. There's more to this than people realize. It's going on everywhere. It's happening to people who can't defend themselves, like EMS.
And you believe this primarily comes from the SDSO?
This is actually a PBSO person that did this. SDSO are unhinged. They have a cult-like mentality. However, it's not entire departments that are the issue. It is individuals and individuals that blindly follow. I will never ever say PD as a whole is the problem. I will never say fuck 12. It's people. And their moral compass is completely off the radar.
Thank you for sharing this story with me, Miss Shaw. I'll get back to you.
All right. You take it easy.